everybody. How you doing today?
Good morning. No, we can't do the good morning Vietnam. It's not Vietnam.
It could be.
Not hot enough, I think.
We have everything but snipers outside. So I put on my Big Red 1 t-shirt for the show.
Woo!
There you go. Oh, well, it's been a crazy time, everybody. First and foremost, we hope your family and you are safe. That nothing horrible is going on, and keep your heads down, like they say. A lot of people have asked, why are you doing a 12 today? I said, well, we figured we'd give the Europeans and other people far away a chance to hop on and tell us how much they love us, because we don't want to hear any complaining.
I have a feeling there's going to be complaining regardless, but it is what it is.
All right. Well, I see Dennis is on here. Mike, Aaron, Vaughn, Dennis again. Like it's been so far from Lachlan Digital. Good evening. It's not even here, but yes, it's lunchtime actually. We should have made this an hour later so we could have eaten. It's actually time for you, right?
It's 11 o'clock. Yeah, in fact, my roommate is just walking out of her office, wide-eyed at me, realizing that I was going to be doing this right about now. So,
if she throws something at you, we'll let you know. We'll give her a score. Kind of like swimming, we'll hold up numbers, All right. Well, basically, guys, what we're going to do is we're really just going to talk about the computer games. If you don't know what we've done recently, is we have launched, we had three computer games. No, we have three. We have,
yeah, but one of them hasn't been released yet.
No. We have three that we've already released. We have War of Empires, Fallen Sons War of Empires.
Forgot about that one. Yep.
In West Front. And we have Command Ops.
Yes. Okay. Although you can kind of count Command Ops as several games because it is really big and got a lot of DLCs, and there's a lot of goodness packed into that.
Yeah. I'm probably gonna put it on sale. I'm probably gonna do it over the weekend, or I'll probably do it on Monday. And just if you guys have been holding out or don't know about it, it's a great game. Tank on Tank speaks for itself. It's a quick game. You're looking for something to play at lunchtime, play with your friends. A nice game. And then the Fallen Stars War of Empires. The best I've been told, it's Twilight Imperium like. And then we have what else do we have? Recently released in the last, 3 days, we have Victory and Glory, the American Civil War. It is the next game in their series. I've seen some people post that it's just a reskin. It really isn't a reskin. They really redesigned it quite a bit. Again, might need some play balance, but really, we spent, I think, double or triple the time play testing it and getting it out and make sure it's what we want. And then we have some of you may have heard Lock and Load Tactical. It's an early release, guys. That means that you're basically, we made it as cheap as I could get my people to allow me to get away with. So it's, what is it, $3 for the core game, gives you 4 scenarios. You can play both sides, 2 Nam and 2 Normandy. The thing that there's 2 scenarios in it. One is in Heroes of Normandy. One is not. One was designed outside of it, and the same thing for the Nam. So there is an extra scenario in there that you may or may not realize. They are meant to be beginner scenarios because it's basically the starter kit digitized, for lack of a better idea there. Also realize too that the starter kit is the core engine. So if it doesn't work on your game, or if it doesn't work on your machine, or you don't like it, that is where everything will come from. So as we add features and add different sound effects, whatever we happen to add to the thing, once it's on that core engine, it's on every single game. Okay, so that is it. We're going to talk a little bit about what our ideas are for the Lock and Load Tactical. We do plan to do a show. It'll probably be next week with the programmer for Victory and Glory. Okay. But you guys could, it's really meant to be a chat session, and there's not any real real thing. You know, we're going to focus on one. I will like to start with Victory and Glory because I think it's only for Windows. Okay, the likelihood is there will be no Mac edition. Okay, it was decided long before we signed them up for the second game. It's the engine they're using. It doesn't really allow Mac easily. It's a solitaire game. You can play the Confederacy or the Union. Okay, some of the nicest artwork that these guys have really put in there. But like I said, give us features, give us idea, areas you find. We are actively still working on it, but it's not, one and done type of thing out the door. You'll find it only on Steam. Let me just see if I can find where the Steam link is. Oh, look at that. Okay. You can find it on Steam. It's only for Windows. Okay. Rulebook is downloadable at our Lock and Load resource section. There's also, if you go on Steam, you can download the rulebook from there. You can download the rulebook from the game. The rulebook comes with the game as well in a folder. And there's a hotkey PDF as well, which you can get in the guide section. So if you go into the game or into Steam, click on the top right. Am I right, Devin? The community.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
You should be able to find all that. You can leave, comments and stuff there. Dev, you've actually played this more recently than me.
Yep.
Mike, I see your questions. I'm seeing your questions, guys. I'm just going to get this off my top before I forget. As soon as I find it. People were asking about the battles, and I just wanted. I got a layout of battles here, or from the same battle. I just want to know if you can maybe explain a little bit more than I can. And you may not. I mean, I don't know how long it's been since you played. So if you don't know, don't sweat it, okay, guys. And more importantly, we may not be right.
No, we're always right.
Okay, so here's
everybody else that's wrong.
Here's the first one I have. You want to discuss just a little bit of?
Okay, so this is your typical battlefield setup. As you can see in the upper left hand corner, this is the Shenandoah Valley area, and what you've got is obviously the Union on one side, the Confederacy on the other side, but each battlefield is broken down into three sections: your left flank, your center, and your right flank. You assign, when a battle starts, you can assign troops to the left, right, and center flanks however you want. You can have a maximum of 4 units in each line. And you've also noticed that with each section, there's 3 lines. There's a Union side, there's the middle area, which is kind of the no man's land, and then there's the enemy area as you're looking at. So in this picture, you're playing as the Confederates. Can have up to 4 units in each section. And then if you advance the troops in the no man's land, then you can, of course, take your reserves, as you can see down there at the bottom. You can see enemy reserves at the top, and you can push them in. Now, what you're going to see most of the time is that your side of the battlefield, your left and center and right, are not going to have any terrain features in it. The terrain features are going to show up in the middle, in the no man's land. Each terrain feature has different effects on combat. If you look on the left side, the middle area that's completely blank, that doesn't have any troops in it, looks like it's kind of a city or a top-down view look of a town. Well, that's a town, and that's going to have different effects on combat for unit that's actually in that tile. Over on the far left, you've got what I think is the swamplands, or on the right, I'm sorry, the enemy left, swamplands and hilly terrain. Each one of those will have different effects on combat, and those are explained in the rule book. Basically, what you do is you set up your left, right, and your center with all your troops, and then each side has a certain number of orders, and with those orders, they can push troops forward, you can fire your artillery, you can fire your troops, and then it flips back and forth. It's always kind of random each phase, how many impulses you have, and it will tell you. In fact, I think the Victory and Glory banner that we have at the bottom is actually blocking the number of orders that the one side may have. And you have to worry about troop quality. Okay, no, it's not there. It's usually where you see the fight next round is usually where you see the number of how many impulses you have left up. Taking a look at the counters, let's take a look at the center, right? The Confederate center. In the middle, you've got GA2, MO1, TN0, AL0. Okay, so obviously Georgia, Missouri, Tennessee, Alabama, that's the home states where they're from. The number below it is their training level. The higher the number, the better. And then you see this little gray bar or this gray triangle with it. Some of them have an S in them. And I believe those are for the smooth bore.
Yeah.
Smooth bores. Yeah, smooth bore rifles. And again, that has an effect in combat. You will also see that you have little positions for different commanders. We've got who's that? That's Price, Longstreet, and Jackson. And the number on there is their command rating, which, of course, the higher the command rating, the better they're gonna support their troops in their sector. Jackson's a 10. He's going to really, and we take a look directly across him. He's facing against Howard, who's only a 4. So Jackson is probably gonna curb stomp Howard. Longstreet a 9 to Buell's 5. That's gonna be a curb stomp. And then we got Price against McClellan. It's going to be kind of an even fight. That one's probably going to come down more to training and everything else. But you go in a series of rounds, and when you're shooting each other, you have the effects of no effect, disrupted, routed, and eliminated. And it's kind of a very it's not difficult when you start doing it. It's just clicking who you want to shoot at, who you want to fire at, who you want to move at, and it speeds up the combat a lot, because in the later stages of the game, you're going to be getting into a lot of combats, and each combat can take about 4 or 5 minutes to play. But if in one turn, which is 3 months of real time, you've got 15 battles going on, you don't want to spend a lot of time too much on the battles. So it's a really quick, intuitive, and at least in my opinion, way of doing the combat. And there's so many factors that go into it that it belies the simpleness of it, because you do have the terrain. You've got, where do I want to put my smoothbore rifles? Where do I want to position my artillery? So yeah, it really is. It is a pretty good combat system. And in the early stages, the Unions are going to get their butts handed to them. And as the war progresses, Union industry starts kicking up more. Union starts getting better equipped rifles. They start getting better artillery. The Confederacy, not so much. They didn't have the industry. So if you're going to play the Union, you're going to be prepared to get your teeth kicked in quite often.
Here's a second part of that battle. I don't know if it shows you anything, but it's different. It's the second round, basically.
Yep, basically second round. So over on the right-hand side, you see where we've got some defeated units. So it looks like the Unions have managed to knock out one battery of artillery, and you can see that R. That means they're retreated. And they're put it in the defeated, because a retreated unit is counted as defeated. And the Confederacy has knocked out an infantry and a cannon. And you can kind of see where they're starting to push troops into the middle band there. And you'll see some of the units, like on the left, you've got the Ohio Infantry 1 right there in the middle band. That kind of looks like it's faded out. That means that unit has conducted its operation, or its action for the turn. So you'll know what you've activated, so you don't have to worry about activating something else. And as you can kind of see, the Union reserves are rather depleted. And the Confederates, they got a couple commanders in reserve. Looks like they've got some cavalry in reserve. But yeah, it's going pretty much as expected. That the Confederacy is kind of kicking the Union in the teeth.
All right, I have another screen. This is I'm not sure which ones the order these go in, so I'm going to tell you that right now. Here we go. Oh, this is the battle summary.
Yep, post-battle summary after the battle is over, and if once you've managed to disengage from the enemy, occasionally you'll lose so badly that your army will rout, that the opponent will have a chance to try to run down your infantry while they're routing. This is the screen after that potential happens. It kind of tells you yada yada yada. Battle summary. Again, we're looking at this from the Confederate side. Our army has won a notable victory in the Battle of Shenandoah. The enemy army is withdrawn in disarray. Our cause will surely prevail. And then you see what the casualties are. You've got Confederate casualties, looks like 2 infantry, a cavalry, and that final insignia is a leader. So the Confederates ended up losing a leader in that battle. Union casualties were 5 infantry, 1 cav, 2 artillery, and they also lost a leader.
Wow. All right, let me get you. I got one more picture for this. Okay.
Okay, so you also have a bunch of cards that you can use in either the strategic mode or the operational mode. This right here, what we're looking at right now is the strategic mode, which is where the battlefields are fought. And there's a huge number of cards that you get every turn that can be used in either mode. Some of these are, and we're looking at, all of these are strategic level cards. These are battle cards that can be played to modify how the combat rolls out. You've got reinforcements arrive, which are really good because you can pull reinforcements from another zone that's next to you. Then you've got Stonewall and Robert E. Lee. You have the cavalry can either appear on their flank, cavalry behind their lines, or they can do a grand battery. And then, of course, Rebel Yell, which is on the turn the card is played, all infantry attacks are a +3. So not only do you have the normal just maneuvering the units on the battlefield in left, right, and center and what rank they're in, but you also have battle cards that can enhance your chances or hinder your opponent.
Okay. I think for the most part, yeah, that's pretty much what we have there. I'm looking on the, of course, I got to find the right page. Okay, I'm looking to see if there's any questions from Steam. Oh, guys, just a shout out. Somebody just said, if you're not on the YouTube channel directly and you're not on the Lock and Load Facebook page, we can't see your questions. So if you're on, Lock and Load Tactical group, or you're on some other place that may be sharing, we might not be able to see your questions. I know we can't see it from the group. It's just a limitation of the software. We're not ignoring you. You might want to pop over to YouTube or onto the Lock and Load publishing page on Facebook and watch the video there. So if you have a question that we can answer. Okay, so I'm going to the community hub, and you believe there's questions here? All right.
What? People having questions?
Oh, guys, just so you know, if you have a problem or you're having a problem with the game, you can post it on Steam, but it's a very disorganized mess, to say the least. I'm going to make special bug discussions. I don't know if I can pin them to the top. It doesn't seem like I can, but I'm a little bit new to the Steam discussion groups here, or discussion forums. The best place to leave this stuff would be on the Lock and Load publishing forums. This way they all get the programmers reading them on both places. But like I said, it's very hard to keep these things organized, at least to me. I may just not be familiar enough with it. Let me just see if there's anything here. Nope. Yeah, luckily there's been very few errors. James did a phenomenal job. Glenn Dover, who you've probably heard his name before, he's done a lot of games. Forbidden Games, I believe, is his newest company. And Force March Games is their studio, the programming house that has done some ancient games. I believe they're up at Matrix Games. And he's done Napoleon, which is the earlier game. Some people have asked, are they going to do an update to that? Not anytime soon was what James said, but they do plan to do some type of patch possibly for the naval combat. Again, don't quote me on this. This is things I'm reading as I'm looking at other people ask questions that James is answering. But I don't really see any questions I can't answer. Some of it was what was play like. I do know, and Mo is online right now, he is going to be making us I guess a review video of the play a little bit. I don't know how soon, but nudge him. And I do know one of the things that we have set up, and I've, of course, got people asking me why, we set up a Twitch channel. We've had it for a while, actually. Just that Dev and I were just too busy and probably not cool enough. We had to get my 16-year-old son to help me set it up.
Yeah, the two of us bumbling trying to figure out Twitch has actually been quite humorous behind the scenes.
And my oldest son, who's an Xbox fan, he wanted me to go to Mixer. And the second I saw you had to use the Microsoft login thing. I was like, yeah, I don't care how much easier this is. I'm not doing it because that thing is horrible just to keep it running. So anyway, Twitch is the thing, and the reason we are picking Twitch, or the reason we're using that as well, is because when you do video through StreamYard like we're using now, or Facebook or YouTube, it's very fuzzy, and it's just not just not clear. Okay, so part of the reasons we did it because my son basically played, I don't know if it was Call of Duty or one of the new games that just came out. And I was really pleasantly super shocked how nice the imagery was. So that is, oops, sorry, I hit the wrong button, guys. That is why we're kind of using it as well as a secondary source, because at least for the computer games, you want to be able to read it and see it and know what's going on. And I don't know if I lost Devin.
Nope, I'm still here. We're just trying to coordinate the lunch thing here at home. So
no problem. The internet's been so bad. It's just amazing. And someone's asking, hey, why was the game so late? Let me tell you guys. Okay, I know people want to blame Steam or blame me. A lot of it has to do with they told me point blank they're working from home. The dates they gave me for release were approved by them, because that's why you see it's telling you the dates. I mean, I can't make anything show up on Steam that they don't approve for the most part. And I don't know if it's because they're, working from home. There's so many people online Steam now. I will say this. Years ago, I used to use Steam when I was at Matrix Games. And, you put in a support question, I could be waiting a week to get that answered. These guys will pretty much answer me in a few hours, and I can only imagine the volume of people on there. So our release dates are our best guess. Okay, guys. So it's not that we're trying to mess you around there. It's just the way it works for us. Hey, Johnny's in the house.
He and I are supposed to be doing a match of World at War 85 on Vassal here sometime soon.
You got to make sure you got to see if the company's on and make sure you kick his backside.
I know, right? Well, we're doing the first scenario, and I'm going to be playing the Soviet, so he's probably going to win that one.
Okay. No, you can't. Don't say that. Probably. Probably. Come on.
You're right. He's definitely going to win. How's that?
Yeah, I should have realized I had to give more options there. Well, it's nice. We seem to be getting a lot of UK guys on here and European, some French guys. So I'm glad this is working for you guys. All right. I have, let me just put up one more time. This is, you can find it on Steam. You can find, by the way, all the games are on the Lock and Load store too. They're just links to where to find them at Steam. So if you're not great at Steam and you can't find it as easily, you can go to Lock and Load store, and it's then go from there to digital games under game categories, and all of our digital games are there. Okay, so making it easy. Again, we plan to have James and possibly even Glenn on the show, talking about the game, answering questions for you. The nicest thing I want to get about this is not an 80-hour game. It's a game you can finish in, I'm going to say, 6 to 8 hours.
Oh, easily.
War,
yeah,
and enjoy it. And so we hope you like the first, well, not the first round, but the new round of computer games. And I'm going to move over to, if anything pops up, I will try to answer it, just so you know. I'm going to move over to, oh, look at that. My wife's online watching me.
Wow.
So of course, the most beautiful woman in the world. So in case, and she's been putting up with a hobby since we've been teenagers. So
that must be love.
I'll tell you, I remember I had a friend, I won't mention his name. I think he's passed now. I was really young. His wife, man, she hated us playing War. She actually used to pinch my arm because I would be invited over by him to play a game, and she'd be annoyed that he was playing games. So, but he was a great guy, and we had a lot of fun playing games when I was younger. He showed me a lot of war games. But thank you, honey, and we'll move on now. Okay, so I'm going to move us over to what I do. Oh, it's you. Okay. Someone's asking a question. There you go, Mike. Mike is asking, did I kick you off?
No, I hit the wrong button. I was trying to hit private chat and I hit login accidentally. So
okay. You can't do that to me, man.
I know. I give you a heart attack and think you've done something wrong when it's actually my fault.
Okay. So. Some guys on Discord were wondering if Victory and Glory, the American Civil War, will work on an emulator. Anyone know? I do know on my Mac, it will work on Parallels. I am a big fan of Parallels. I think my Windows works better on the Mac than it does on a regular Windows machine. Okay. So I can't speak for anything else. But Mike, maybe that will help you. I have a question, Dev. Can you bring up, or do you have up Discords of someone's asking the questions when we're live on Discord? We can answer it.
Yeah, I have Discord running in the background all the time. I actually put out a little blurb about an hour ago that we were going to be doing the show, and I was asking for questions. But as of recently, we've got 32 people on Discord right now, but no real questions that have cropped up as of yet. I mean, there's been questions over the last several days, and like Mike was pointing out, we that question, if the Victory and Glory work in emulator, did show up, but nothing this morning as of yet.
All right. Someone wants to know why they never see me on Discord. I hate Discord. Discord I hate more than Twitch. Okay. Now I'm sure once I lose a bet with Kevin, the bet will be I have to go on Discord. I'll have to get food, supplies, and spend 18 hours working my way through it. But we do have a Discord server, guys, for those who care. And where's the link for that? There we go. There's our Discord server. Devin seems to be on that all the time. So
I am on there all the time. As a stay-at-home living caretaker, I don't go anywhere. And plus with the lockdown, I don't go anywhere. I just leave it running in the background. I check it every 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes. You have a question that needs to be asked. We got a lot of good people in there. Stefan, our lock and load rules expert, is in there all the time. So if you got a lock and load tactical question, he's in there. If you got a question about Vassal, Mike is in there. He helped Trent with the Vassal mod. We've got some bunch of really knowledgeable people, and we can get an answer to you relatively quick. Now, we may not be able to answer technical questions on the new digital stuff that's coming out, but pretty much anything else we can get you an answer relatively quick. May not be the answer you like, but we'll get you an answer.
Well, listen, you can't have everything, right? Okay. Okay. I'm just trying to see where the first question is. Okay. Aaron's asking. What did Aaron ask? Will Lock and Tacto then be patched? Okay. I don't know. I guess that's part of another question. Hold on, Aaron. I might have missed it. Okay, Aaron. I don't know what your first question was. I don't see it, actually. If you're asking if we're going to patch Lock and Load Tactical, it's an early release. And let me explain that. Early release is Steam's code word for late beta. Okay. I mean, I've seen some games on Steam. When was a prison, you run in a prison.
Prison Architect.
Yeah. And that was on, maybe still be on early release. It's got to be 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. There's a bunch of games from independent developers. Honeydew Valley, that's a big farming type simulator that's been in early access forever. RimWorld, there's a lot of independents because there are only 2 or 3 guys working on it, and they want to get the title out and then work and update as people give them feedback. There's a lot of stuff that's early access on Steam.
Our goal for this is a couple of things. First of all, if you notice, it's 40% off. I believe it only lasts a week. That's the discount release price. The normal core game is $9.99. We'll just say $10 to make my math simple, guys. It's $10, and each of the battle packs will be $10. What is a battle pack? Anywhere between 8 to 12 scenarios. It fluctuates basically on how it breaks down. Our goal is to take each game and put as many, if not all, of the scenarios into the game the way they are in the board game. So This is not us modifying some rules to make it easy to play online. You are getting the board game. Okay. Right now, the games, the battle packs, there's 2 of them. One's Heroes of Normandy. It's 1 of 5, which means there's going to be 5 battle packs for Heroes of Normandy. And there's going to be, I believe it's 3 battle packs for Heroes of the Nam. Okay. I think it's only going to be 1 battle pack for Heroes of the Falklands. And it's going to be I think it's going to be 2 or 3 battle packs for Heroes Against the Red Star. Okay. But we're going to jump around. Okay, the way this was designed, so if for at the maximum of $10 at the moment, you'll get the entire code game, the entire engine. You'll see if it works in your computer. You'll see if there's any issues for $10. And remember, on Steam,
$5, Dave.
No, but that's the price now. But it's because it's early access.
The starter kit is $4.99. The modules are $10 each.
Right, but
I think you may have been confusing people with that.
Okay, well, it's $5.99, but it's early access, which means you give a different price because you're going to put up with crap that, technically speaking, a game release you're not going to put up with crap with. Really, what we're looking for is how many times you guys bought the game. And there's some tweaks that could have been done, had it been done, or been talked about early. This is the opportunity, guys. It's plain and simple. We actually, in the game, have, I think it's F3. I don't know
F3, yes.
You can save. Was that the help? Is that the help?
No, the F3 is the bug report tool. Okay, if you come across any bugs in the game, hit the F3, type out your problem, and Tom's got it set up that it'll grab the scenario, it'll grab your issue, and it'll email it directly to him. You don't have to do anything. Hit F3, type in your problem, hit enter, bam, it gets shot off to Tom.
There's another option too, that if you have a scenario, let's say in Normandy, where you have a setup that you think is great or nice, you literally can save that setup and send it to Tom. Okay, because what we're doing is we're trying to give the computer multiple ways of setting up, multiple ways for the AI to learn. Off the bat, AI is never going to be good as a person. Well, depends on who you're playing, I guess. But in most cases, okay, it's not going to be as good as a person. But we want this to we're giving you the core rulebook to learn from. We changed the cover and we took out the starter kit. Okay, so all the rules are there. Okay, and you still can use all the bootcamp videos for the board game. They're exactly the same rules. Okay. People have asked, you're gonna make a digital rulebook. We made 2 sets of videos, and I just want to go over this because I guess we confused some people. There's 4 videos. You can find them on YouTube under the community, under videos. You can find them on YouTube under something, I don't remember what I guess it's probably Bootcamp, but I may be wrong. But there are 4 videos, and it's made to just show you the interface and the menus of the game, which we'll go over a little bit later for you. And the purpose of that was because you may not realize, how do you select the unit, how do you change, and there's a good chance we're going to put that into a PDF and put it into the digital rulebook. Most of you guys know the game, some of you don't. Yes, you're going to have to learn Lock and Load Tactical by a rulebook. There is no walkthrough video or play scenario. We found that it wasn't really helpful. I mean, because you still need to know the rules. And the rulebook is 250 pages. It's 12-point font. It's really large, and there's a lot of examples. I think there's over a 40-page walkthrough. And what's so nice is you could actually take the counters, put them on the map, because they're all Heroes of Normandy or Heroes of the Nam, which is why those 2 packs were done first. So you can actually walk it through and play it. The problem is you're not going to necessarily guarantee the same results. You may roll kill the unit when another time you may retreat them, or you may have nothing happen to them. So it will change, but it's a great way you can walk through it. Okay. So on the rules, there probably will be a menu/UI interface. There will be 90%. I'm sure we're not going to make a digitalized computer rulebook. There's just no reason to. Okay. We did a lot of effort to make this look and play like the board game. So, okay, let me see what else we have here. Oh, there's always a wise ass, Steve. Thank you very much. Okay. Hey guys, has anyone else lost sound? According to Steve, he's lost sound. Oh, maybe it was that comment. I'm just saying. But
we turned the sound off because Steve was poking fun at us. That's what we did.
Oh, okay. But I don't see any comments that we've lost sound. But no, everyone says we're good. Okay, Steve doesn't like Discord, so he's back on my good list. Okay. You know what, Steve? Just leave and come back in. Yeah, perfect. Okay. Do you need the rules? Okay. Do you need the rules of locking with tactical board game to play the Digimon? I can't see how you're going to play that game or any tactical game without knowing the rules. Okay. I just can't see how that's possible. I mean, unless it's a super uber light game, which it's definitely not ASL level, not even close. But it's got to be that, if there's level A being the most hardest and Z being the easiest, I think obviously ASL is A. It's just I have never played a game more complicated than that. Okay, but I think all the other tactical games really fall in an E or an F or a G, somewhere in that range. So whether you're playing any other tactical game, I think they fall there or they're going to fall near the Z section. Okay, so definitely we fall in the middle of the road there. Okay, and like I said, we have Stefan and a lot of other guys who are just, I mean, I don't know if they sleep and read these rules constantly, but these guys can rattle things off incredibly.
I would personally say that you don't really need to know the rules. I mean, basically, it's a point and click. All right, I want to take this guy. I want to move him here. Pretty intuitive how to do that. Now, what you're going to get into is how does the impulse system work? Well, you're going to have to kind of read the rules of that. How does spotting work? Are people even aware of spotting? Yes, what does it mean when the counters are shaded out? Well, the hex isn't spotted, so you're not going to be able to shoot at him. You're going to have to understand that. Deploying support weapons, yeah, that's maybe a little bit intuitive. You can figure that out. But I think at the basic level, if you just want to start pointing and clicking and driving a tank around and hearing machine gun sounds, you don't really need to know the rules. But if you want to get under the hood and try to understand how exactly the dice rolls work or what all the numbers mean, then yeah, you're definitely going to have to read the rules.
Well, I look at it this way, the whole object of, for basically $3, is it now? $3, you can get the core game, buy nothing else immediately, and try it out. If you find it's too annoying, you don't like it, it's not your cup of tea, you literally, if you pay less than 2 hours, and I think it's 30 days, maybe it's less than that, but if you play if less than 2 hours, you can just ask Steam for your $3 back. Yeah. And, like I said, the reason for the super low price was to get, everyone's stuck in the house, okay? And we took note of that. And we made it an early release, knowing that, hey, there are going to be things we're fixing and things that we need to improve or change or just adjust, really, because based on you guys' input. And we wanted that input. I mean, Locking with Tactical, I'm not going to say we're the most supportive company, but I think you'll be hard-pressed to find another company that actually interacts with its customers as active and as often as we do. And so why not do that for the computer game? If we can't do something or we don't like something, we're just not going to do it. It's that simple. But we do want the input, and we have changed rails, as they say, because you guys have brought in stuff. So I hope that answers your question there.
And another reason why it's good for us to do early access with us is our playtest team numbers no more than 20 guys. Half of them are probably pretty active. I know 1 or 2 guys that are into it full bore. 20 people are not going to see what 1,000 people are going to see in the first couple hours of the release. Yes. The more people, the more eyes you have on something, the more chance we have to get feedback to Tom, and so we can improve the system and make the experience better for everybody. So
what we did was, every now and then on Facebook, I would put out hey, who wants to be a play tester? We'll get X. I mean, I have to be honest with you. You get 20 play testers, pretty much first week, everyone plays, and then you lose half of them almost by the second week. And you're down to, let's just say 5 rounded numbers here, or actively every day really giving us reports and playing. And again, it's impossible for everyone to play constantly. This way, a lot of you guys are home. A lot of you guys love Lock and Load Tactical. Here's a great way to play the game that you may not have played. It's a great way to learn the game. I mean, this is better than learning a game because you can actually actively play it. And I don't think there's another tactical game that has, download the game, try a few scenarios. The rules are online. The rules are in audiobook format, guys. If you want to listen to the audiobook of it, we're trying to do different things to, our motto is play the game, not the rules. Okay. And that's the whole thing. We want you, I'm not saying you don't have to read the rules. You have to learn the game. I'm sorry, that's anything you do. Okay. But outside of that, once you've got the basic system down, the module rules are really the only new thing you need to learn. And they're not like there's another 100 pages. I think it's 10 to 20 pages in that range, literally, of module rules for any theme game. Oh, someone's asking about the module rules. Yes. Once you load a scenario for module, the module rules are available in PDF. Okay. You can also download them from the Resource Center. It's no scenarios. It's just the module rules for that game. So you can have it. So this will make it easy for us to keep going. All right.
One big thing a lot of people have been asking, we should probably get to this because it is kind of why we put the game out. Player versus player. How do you do it? All right. So in Lock and Load,
I got screenshots. Hold on. I had screenshots. Okay. Right.
All right. So here's the main menu when you log in to Lock and Load Tactical. This is the main menu screen. Over here to the right, you see Invite Friend. Now, this program works a little bit differently. You can invite from inside the program, inside the menu itself. To do that, you and one of your Steam friends have to be at the main menu itself, both at the same time. Now, hopefully, if you and your friends are both, if you're friends with someone on Steam, you should be able to at least communicate via that way on Steam that, hey, I'm going to jump on now, you jump on, yada, yada, yada. When both of you or anybody on your friends list is online and they're at the menu, you will see a list of them on the right-hand side where it says Invite Friend. You just click on the button, it'll automatically shoot the invite off. Now, this is a little bit different than how Steam normally does the invites. Normally, to do invites through a Steam game, you have to do the control tab, and then you have to find them on the friends list and then invite to game that way. You don't have to worry about that. This is all done from inside the menu. Now, the drawback to this and the complaint that a lot of people are having is, well, what if I don't have anybody on my friends list and I just want to play someone anyways? Well, at this point, you really can't.
No, I have an update for that for you. I have an update. I talked to Tom.
Okay. Excellent.
Devin has not been privy to this. What we're going to do is allow it to show you anyone. I guess they used to be called the lobby back in the good old days.
The lobby, yeah.
And people who want to play will be sitting in the lobby. So if you don't know somebody, you can call it. It's something Tommy's going to program, put in there. We put this in here so you guys could play with friends and initially off. Okay. So we didn't want anyone to have to meet some guy who never played the game and is just going to ask you 500 questions. I don't know if we're going to add video support and or audio support into the game, but it's all things bouncing around. And again, guys, tell us the things you want, but put them in the order of importance. But the multiplayer is the first thing we're going to work on.
Okay, we should probably also point out that multiplayer, only the starter kit scenarios are set for multiplayer right now. So the Heroes of the Nom module and Heroes of the Normandy module cannot be done multiplayer yet. I know this has irritated a lot of people. A lot of people are saying that they felt that they've been cheated. I've seen the comments on the Steam discussion page. It's an early access game, guys. we're working on it.
We put down limited multiplayer. And the reason for that is each scenario has to have every single thing programmed into it. Now, again, this is Tom's priority right now, outside of if there's a bug crash or someone can't get the resolution to work, something like that. The reason is once we program every possible event in there, every possible effect in there, then obviously it will go quicker. Okay, but literally, it's taken a while because we took the approach that we wanted to code the game exactly as the board game, and unfortunately, that requires a lot of, I guess, separate code per scenario. Okay.
It's exceptions. There's each scenario is an exception, and each event in a scenario is an exception. You have to code that separately.
Okay. Now I'm going to pop this up here, guys. This is the main screen. Once you get past that screen we just showed you, you decide you want to play. We've showed this quite a few times, but the boxes have confused some people. If it's grayed out, obviously the game is not available. You may see boxes available for us when we play online that you cannot see. That's because we are beta testers or developers, and hence we're going to play more than you do because we're coding certain things. If the game is highlighted or colored or whatever you want, unmuted, it means it's there for you. I thought apparently I didn't do that one. There's also, it will have Roman numerals under it. As soon as I find it, I'm going to upload it to the server here. And the purpose of that is games have multiple battle packs. Now, again, they have to be available. They may not be available yet, in which case you can't, obviously can't see it. Let me just find this other graphic here for you. Hold on. There we go. Wait a second, guys, and I'll throw that on the screen for you. Here we go. Okay. So if you look at Heroes of the Motherland, right next to it, there's a smaller box, Dark July. Any smaller box requires that you own all of the bigger box to the left of it. Okay. So if there's, I'm just making this number up now, 4, 3, 2 battle packs, or 1 battle pack for Heroes of the Motherland. You have to have all those before you're able to buy Dark July 43. Okay. And it's because of the requirement that has that you need parts of the other game. Okay. So hopefully that'll explain that. Bastion's Outpost, Noville, same thing. It requires that you have all of Normandy. Now, Normandy right now is showing you 2 icons in the bottom of it. Okay. When all 4 or 5 battle packs are available, you will see up to 5 there. And what that represents is on this screen, which now of course is gone, this screen here, if you click on the first battle pack only, so it's highlighted, the Roman numeral 1 is actually white, the other ones are black, it'll show you just the scenarios from the first battle pack. If you click the second one and the first one, you'll see all the scenarios from those 2 battle packs. So you can break them down that way. And it also shows you which battle packs you have and don't have, so you don't end up trying to buy the same battle pack that you've already owned. Do you want to talk about, Devin, if you know a little bit more information on the Fog of War option that you see here?
Yeah, the Fog of War is basically you are not going. You have 3 options: none, initial, and full. Now I haven't done the initial, but from what I remember, if it's none, it's like you're playing it just like the board game. You can see all the counters that your opponent has, just like if you're playing head to head. There is no units are quote unquote well, they could be concealed because of spot attack, but there are no hidden units. Initial Fog of War is pretty much just the setup. As soon as you start moving your units, everybody's going to start seeing the counters as they move around. And the full is, unless you have a line of sight to the hex, you're not going to see what the opponent's doing. But
let me ask a question. On the full, I can see the counter, but I still have the same issue that I have to have it spotted in order to shoot at it, or it doesn't show up unless it's spotted?
It doesn't show up unless it's spotted.
Is that accurate? Because
I think it's been a while since I did.
Yeah, I don't think because you can't, if you don't know someone's there, you can't attempt.
You can't attempt to spot it.
You have to check Tom on that particular how we implement. But that, by the way, is again, it breaks away a little bit from the board game, because obviously you can always see the counters on the board game, but we like that idea if you wanted to play it that way. I'm sorry, I just figured I'd throw that in there.
Yeah, no, it's a good thing. I haven't gone over the Fog of War settings in any of my videos, so that's good that we mentioned that.
The computer will play AI against AI. Give you a warning, guys. We're going to probably make that a feature. We have to check it. We put that in there because when I was at the Matrix doing Steel Panthers with Tom, one of the things a lot of the designers would love to do is take their scenarios, set them all up, and have it play against each other a few times for play testing purposes or play balancing purposes. So we're going to have a way for you to build scenarios down the road. And one of the things you want to make sure to do is let the computer play itself so you can watch it and see what's going on. Note that if you do AI against AI, you will have no way of stopping it until it's done. Okay, so you won't be able to break it, pause it, or anything else. Again, it was put in there as a feature to flush out more as we go along.
Basically, the reasoning behind that is you can only hit the escape to bring up the menu when it's your turn, and when the computer is playing itself, it's programmed that you can only hit the escape on your turn. But if the computer's playing, it's never your turn, so you can never hit the escape to break out of it. It's just, again, it's something. Fortunately, the scenarios run really quick. If even the bigger scenarios, if you just want the computer to play against itself, 10 minutes tops. But if you do want to quit it before then, you're going to have to either Alt F4 or Control Alt Delete it out.
Okay. People have asked us about the resolution. Okay. Basically, guys, it uses your desktop. Okay. So whatever your desktop resolution is what the game is going to be. Okay. We do know there's a gentleman who's having a problem with, I would like to see that monitor. He's got like 33.
It's a 1330 or something. It's a really weird resolution setting that he's got.
Yeah. So anyway, that, aside, Tom is working on that. But anyway, here's your options. Okay. Now this is going to grow and change. And just go back to the videos. People ask why we didn't put all the videos in the game, the tutorials, because these were just for the interface and the game menus, which I expect we're going to be adding things and modifying things, just like the multiplayer. Okay, so as we change things or people give us an idea or something didn't work as well as it could have, we wanted to have to adjust it. And if it's for official tutorials and stuff like that, they work differently. I think most of this is pretty self-explanatory, right?
Pretty much.
There's going to be voices coming where you're going to hear people shouting and giving orders. And that's one of the things that may change. We may do all the voices in English and then do a set of voices that are in the native language, which you can, turn on the Russian voices. And, if you don't understand Russian, you may not know what they're saying, but, people like that type of feel. What's messy counter placement there?
Messy counter placement, instead of having the stack of counters all nice, neat, and lined up, they're actually all a little bit off. So it looks like the stack is stacked messily. Literally, that's what it is.
Okay. Okay, then we got X maps. I guess that's self-explanatory to the guys. X maps, for those who don't play Lock and Load Tactical, shame on you, would be to basically give you bigger hexes. You can fit 4 counters tightly into a hex. And I guess with the messy counters and the X maps, you can get pretty much a lot of stuff in there.
Yep.
The other thing is, I think this is the gentleman with the crazy map monitor size.
Yeah, 3440. Yes.
Tom, I'm envying your monitor size. I have 3 monitors in the 27s, but that's insane, buddy. But I do like it. Okay, then hey Todd, I see Todd's here. Todd, give me a buzz when you get a chance. I tried calling you the other day. I'll talk to you later about that. The interface. Mark Van Marshall, in my opinion, one of the best graphic guys out there for war games. He made more up to date. It's been, I don't know how long Lockland's been around, 10 years.
So longer than that.
No, it can't be longer. Really? I guess so. Yeah, because I had it. We actually, Matrix Games, when I owned that company, which did 99% computer games, we actually released, I think it was called Band of Heroes at the time.
Yeah, yep.
Band World War II edition. And then, believe it or not, the designer of that started Lock and Load. And then I went another couple of years, sold Matrix, and then turned around and ended up buying Lock and Load. Never part of my plan or his plan, I'm sure, at the time. But the I don't know where I was going with that. But the the admin counters have been the same and hasn't really changed at all. Okay, so Mark updated them. So when you play the game right now, you're going to see all the new admin counters. Tom is going to program it so you can use the old ones for those who want to just, keep with the rules, to keep with the original stuff. But you can tell what they are. They're not so different that you won't see them.
It's enough to make you stop and go, wait a minute, that's different. That's really that's what I ran into when Tom dropped it on us and unexpectedly. It's like those counters look a little bit different, but they play just the same. So,
okay, if you buy an early release of the tactical, then upgrade. I don't mean what you mean by upgrade. If you buy it now, especially right this second, it's very cheap, guys. I mean, it's at $12. You can get both battle packs, and you can get the core game. Okay. And again, I think the discount lasts for about a week. Do not quote me on that. Maybe it's a little bit longer. Maybe it's a little less. That's a Steam option. I really have no control over that. We way down the road, we'll probably make packs. We can buy all the Normandy when they're all released as a cheaper price at once compared to that. But the best price is probably going to be right now. Consider this like a virtual Kickstarter, I guess, for lack of a better word. Okay, so you don't have to buy it again if that's what you're asking, Aaron. If you already buy it on the early access, you've got it. You own it. It's yours. No one can take it from you that I'm aware of. So, I would say if you have any interest at all, buy first the core game, which is the starter kit. Okay, and see if you like it. If it's to your liking, you can buy the modules. You got a few days before the price goes up. And you're stuck at home. I mean, let's face it, it gives you something to do. The rule book's downloadable. There's audiobooks, there's ebooks, there's PDF of the rule book. I mean, I don't really know how else other than coming over and teaching you, which may or may not be easier. You can learn this game and play it, buddy. Okay. I got this. I don't know. Steve, on my 2 screens setup, it always goes to my secondary monitor. That's a Tom question. I have no idea. I mean, I have 3 screens, and whatever one I started on, I can shift it to anything I want. So I don't know if that's a problem for you. Now, again, I'm running on Mac. I'm one of the Mac guys here, but I haven't heard that being an issue on anybody, so I'm not sure. And I believe you can start it what they call windowed, so you should be able to grab and move it around anyway. Have you seen that, Devin, on your Windows side?
It doesn't run in Windows mode, but I just hit the Windows key so I can kind of tab out of the game. I don't like running in Windows mode on any of my games because honestly, that just tiny little bit around the edge of the screen tends to throw my perception of the resolution off. So I just prefer to tab out if I need to do anything behind the scenes when I'm running the program. So I'm not the person to ask on that.
Okay. Hey, Simon, is it possible to increase font sizing and add in an extra zoom level for the map and info boxes?
I will say personally, I would like to see the font sizes for the dice rolling and everything else a little bit bigger. My old eyes just are not conducive to the I think it's like a 6 point or an 8 font.
Okay, well, that goes on the feature list I was talking about.
Yep.
And what else do I have? Now, I see also, just looking at the interface, there is show movement numbers. I mean, that just, I guess, shows you how much movement points you're using on the map.
Yep. If you click on a unit and you're going to move it, you can cursor over and it'll show you the path that the computer will take and how much it costs for each hex that you're going to be moving into and what your total movement is. Now, you can move hex by hex if you want to choose a different path, but at least you know, all right, I've clicked this. That's a brush? Is that one movement point or 2 movement points? I can't remember. It'll actually just put, it's like, all right, this is how many movement points it costs. Really huge help for those of us who can't remember what all the movement points for all the different terrains are.
Okay. And nighttime map tinting. I do know that there's going to be clouds a little bit and rain showing up. I've already seen it. So you're going to get weather effects, which I'm sure will be added to the interface. You can turn them on or off. The nighttime tinting. I know there's a screenshot of the British paratroopers dropping at Normandy, and the map looks like it's nighttime with moonlight. Now the moonlight is not really accurate, but you have to be able to see the stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's just to give you that feel that it's a night turn. I know the delays are. What's the AI move sniper delay?
Basically, how long when the AI pops a sniper, how long it remains on the screen to let you know, I think, where the sniper shot is coming from.
Okay.
Fairly certain that's what that is.
Oh, the game is always auto-saving at the beginning of each. I don't know if it's phase or round, so I don't remember what Tom told me.
I think it's the beginning of every turn.
Okay. I thought it was at every impulse move.
Every impulse. I know I've got a lot of autosaves in my save file folder.
So now people have asked for an undo key. It is pretty much, we haven't found a good way to undo on multiplayer because of the way we save the game. Because it's constantly saving. So if it's a crash, you drop out, whatever the case is. So if you are fat-fingered or a poor clicker like I am, you may move to the wrong spot. Okay, we may make this the new Kevin Sharp rule, but Kevin don't know why I'm saying that. Okay, but what you do is you can reload the last autosave. So it should take you right back to where the guy is, but it might take you a little further back. It might not take you back enough. Again, we're playing with it. It seems to be working good, but it will not work yet in multiplayer. But something Kevin didn't know at the time that he had that issue was you can use the number keys to move too. So you don't have to click and, hopefully you got the right click. I use a trackpad on my Mac, so it's even more of a mess. But anyway, it'll, do we have, let me just see if I put I'm just trying to see if I put it's never have everything I need. I'm going to load also for you guys the hotkey list. Okay. Dev, when I'm doing that, do you want to go over the other default movement modes and auto select stack at start of the phase and stuff like that?
Okay, so basically, auto select stack at the start of the phase. Basically, that's what tells you where the cursor will start off at when it's the player's turn. So if you want to auto select a stack at the start of a phase, you can do it during setup, rally, and ops. I personally like having all these off. I don't like having the computer jump to what it randomly decides a stack should be. The problem is my big fat fingers. I'll think when I start a phase, I'll think that it's not tabbed on something. I'll click a hex and it'll move the auto selected unit to that hex. It's annoying to me. But if you wanted to auto select a stack at the start of any of the phases, you can either set for setup, rally, or ops. So basically that means when the setup starts, the cursor will automatically select a stack and it'll zoom right to there, and then you can just go from that stack. Or you can have it at the rally. Sometimes I could maybe see this because then at least then it'll, sometimes you get confused in bigger battles. You don't know what stacks you need to rally. You could put it on that. It'll automatically bring the cursor over to a unit that needs to be rallied. And then the ops at the beginning of every ops phase, it'll just put the cursor and highlight a stack randomly. Some people like that. Some people don't. I don't like it, but it's an option there that people can have. the default movement modes. So basically, whichever one of these are clicked, onboard vehicles to assault move. That means that is going to be the default mode every time you click on a vehicle. It's going to be defaulted to assault move. Then you would have to go into manually where the little buttons are across the top of the counter screen to either for infantry, for crawl, or just a normal move. If you want to have your default as normal, you click that off. If you wanted to have it as assault move, you have that on. Arriving vehicles, those would be for reinforcements. So when your reinforcements come on, you can set the arriving vehicles, you can have them set to either be an assault move or normal move. Again, this is all a personal choice, your own personal opinion, how you want to play it. Onboard non-vehicles, that's a fancy way of saying infantry, set to assault move. This one I usually have off because most of the time you're going to have infantry moving normally anyways, and only on occasion will you want to assault move them. Not arriving non-vehicles to assault move, again, infantry, and suicide sappers set to detonate. We don't have very many scenarios with suicide sappers yet, but suicide sappers will automatically detonate when they get to the hex that they're supposed to that you want them, or you move them into a hex that has an enemy unit and it'll automatically detonate, so you don't have to command them to detonate.
Okay, that makes sense. Simon's asking the possibility of increasing font size and extra. Okay, we were just discussing that before. It is not an option now. It is on Tom's list, or will be coming on Tom's list because I'm the one making that list. Okay. Yeah, we're going to see if we can make it adjusted. I'm not promising that. I don't know about the Zoom letters, but we will look into it. Again, this is one of the reasons we're doing the early access. Okay. Look at Steve's main. My main is 34. Look at that. Wow. So I guess it's a wide monitor, I guess, Steve. Huh? It's not really it's not like a square. It's more of a, what would you call that? Letterbox style, I guess.
Oh, one question that I have, and I'm not sure the answer to, has the music that Dan composed for us, has that been integrated into the game yet?
No.
Okay.
With Steam. I called Dan today, actually, but he wasn't home. I have to get into adjusting Steam's, I've never put in games up alone was, a stroke waiting to happen. The music was even more complicated.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I wasn't quite sure if we had integrated Dan's
not yet,
music yet.
But
or not.
it is coming, and Dan's stuff will be there 100%. Stefan is saying, actually, that's not correct, Stefan. I got you on finally something. It took a couple of years, but I got you. Actually, Forgotten Heroes and Anzac Attack was done by another company, and they're still around. I know that. I can't think of the name of them right now. They did the first 2 board games of the series. Then we signed a 3rd board game, which was Band of Heroes. I don't remember. Shrapnel Games. That's who it is. Shrapnel Games originally did the first 2 box games, and we took Forgotten Heroes and Anzac Attack, combined them and called it Heroes of the Nam, and added some other stuff to it. So there you go there. Okay. Chat's agreeing on the font size. And Neil is downloading now. All right, Neil. Dennis is saying there shouldn't be an undo for multiplayer. I hear what you're saying, and I kind of agree with you. But if you're playing the game and you fat finger it or Kevin Sharp it, and you go. Actually, what he actually did was he was playing. I think it was Vance, and what he did was he inadvertently moved the guys backwards, okay, from what instead of going to the direction he wanted. And the problem was there wasn't enough time left in the game turn to physically move to get off the game, so he couldn't win at all. Okay, so it kind of wrecked the scenario. What I would like to see happen maybe is have a way to undo it, but have your opponent have to approve it maybe. So in other words, you hit the undo, and if the opponent agrees, okay, that was just a stupid mistake, then you can hit the button and agree to the undo. Right now, it's it's the way that we are saving the game that's really the issue. We wanted to save all the time. So if there's a PC crash, if you dropped off from Steam, if this happened, there was always a way for you to be able to play it or go back to where you were and not lose much. Okay, so I hope that explains a little bit better. Sorry if I wasn't clear about that. Okay. Somebody said the games seem more expensive in the UK. It might be UK because what they do is it's based on US dollars and then they adjust it to all the other prices. So it may be more, maybe less. I can't honestly tell you because I don't know the exchange rate off the top of my head. So it may be a little bit more, but at $3, it can't be that much. I mean, in general, guys, a difference unless something really strange is going on.
We've got a couple people saying Rough Swordsman Wargamer just downloaded the core game, £2.39 in the UK, and Aaron just mentioned that it was £11.
Okay, again, that's all Steam guys. I like to say, it's me, but I'm totally innocent here. Okay, what else?
You also have to remember that the UK and Europe have the VATs. So anything we do in the States is going to be more expensive, even with the exchange rate, just because Europe has the value-added tax on everything.
That for software too?
I'm sorry, what?
Is that for software as well?
As far as I know, it's for anything that's sold. There is nothing that gets away from the VATs, as far as I know. I haven't, I know what the VATs is, and I've looked into it a little bit. But as far as I know, the VATs is everything. Anything that's sold in Europe and UK gets hit with the VATs. So,
how is the game doing for us? You know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I've had two of you. Even my wife has asked me. I haven't looked. and the reason is, I don't. I just. It is what it is, and when the sales report comes in, or a couple of days go by, oh look, it seems to be selling extremely well. Okay, I think we had people waiting in. You can tell how long you're waiting for, and people waiting in the lobby to buy it, and the amount of emails I would get. There was well over 300 to 400 people. Okay, just waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. And at one point, I think Maurice and I noticed it was well over 500 or 600 people. Now, I don't know if all those people bought or not, but I think you'll be challenged to find a better deal. I know the Victory and Glory game actually sold very well too. Not at those numbers, but it sold pretty damn well. And it's still obviously still selling.
Oh, one thing you might also want to go over, because I know some people have, this has popped up in the Discord. Why Steam only from this point out with digital games from Lock and Load?
A lot of the problem is this: if you sell, we can only do so much support, okay? And as many of you know, the Kickstarter, the support got really behind, and we're only able to support it through the programmer because if the screen is crazy, okay, or you're having a problem loading something, or your screen goes black when it loads. There's nothing Devin or I or any of the other normal guys who are in the office shipping packages and stuff can help you with. And we only support the games through the forums at Lock and Load and or on Steam. We're going to try to see how well that works out for us. I can't promise. So it's Steam does a few things. Okay, Tom and I really took a while. I mean, this is not something we programmed in the last year. This has been going on since I bought Lock and Load. Okay. And that's got to be 7-8 years ago. Okay. The first thing we did was we used whatever engine he was originally using. And I didn't like it because it couldn't do Max. And Tom and I discussed it, and we finally stopped what we're doing, basically started over, and we used Unity. And the reason we used Unity, hence Steam, was it's really a one-button click, and you got Mac support. So if you're building something from scratch or you're starting something on Unity, it's so much easier to make a Mac update, and possibly even an iOS. Now, before people say when, we do not think the iPads have enough processing power necessarily to play it on an iPad. Okay. The interface obviously is different and everything else. So If we make an iPad edition, okay, it will be down the road, and don't ask for at least another year or so, okay, and that's for an update on the iPad stuff. So I don't know. Did I answer this question well enough?
Yes, I believe that went over it specifically and with clarity.
The other reason for Steam, there was more. It allows us to do the updates automatically. Once we put it up there, everyone gets them who wants them. And it also lets the multiplayer work so much more smoother. So it's mainly for one location, multiplayer, and the updates. And there's no other numbers or anything else we have to get around. I mean, honestly, guys, I know a lot of people say, oh, Steam. Listen, I've been using Steam since the day it came out. All my kids do. I've never had a problem with Steam. Actually, I had my first problem yesterday trying to load my own game. And we're getting ready to hit the button. I said, okay, guys, everyone test it one more time. My game won't load. It turned out, if you read Steam, hey, try moving the directory. I don't know why moving the directory, but it worked. And it could be a glitch, could be a cache. I did everything else it said, but it did work. And I like having all my games on Steam, so God forbid my computer blows up, I don't have to worry about finding a DVD or a CD or anything else. So anyway, that's the reason. It just makes it easier for a small company to do it. Wait, what else we got? Okay, I'm going to say not true. Books are not VAT. Bread, milk, etc. are basic foods. Okay. Let me change one of the images we have. Hold on. Now, the rule book is available to be downloaded on the lock and load thing. It's included in the game. This is how it pops up. You can look for it and find rules during the game. We made the cover red. Okay, so it's not the same as the tabletop rules. Now, what's different? The only thing different, and I mean the only thing different, there's no starter kit, guys. Okay, it's still downloadable. So if you want to get the blue rule book, it's the same rule book. The only thing, like I said, that may change or I expect will change is we will add an interface section of the rules that you guys can follow. Okay, so you can have a reference to that. But it's a little bit smaller because it doesn't have all the starter kit pages in there. And just a quick update. Someone's asked me about the Kickstarter. Hey, trial of strength with this virus thing going on. We're probably going to have a meeting next week of whether or not we should kick off the Kickstarter. Part of the reason we made these computer games as low as we're making them is because a lot of you guys are, out of work, on laid off, waiting for a paycheck, and I just, let's put up a $90, $100 game and sock it to you. I just don't think that's really the right thing to do at the time. Once we get a better handle on when and where we think we are with the virus and the curve, and the world's still spinning on its own, we'll give it a new announcement. We're pretty much ready to go, guys. It's just I didn't want to have anyone miss out because at this moment they don't have a paycheck necessarily. And this is, let's face it, nothing like this has ever happened before in our lifetimes, at least. So anyway, it's coming, it's ready. It's just and same thing with the other stuff. You might get a couple of Kickstarters back to back from us because we're still working on Point Blank, which is pretty much done as well. It's just now waiting for the world to be able to have us do it. Okay. Here is, when you, let me just see the screen that says tutorials. Once you click tutorial, which I don't have the screenshot to tutorials, it lists 6 or 7 tutorials in the game. These tutorials are integrated with the game to a degree, and you will then see a screen like this, okay? And that screen is the actual scenario. Inside of it are the rules, and you can play it fast forward or not fast forward inside the game. Okay. The other 4 scenarios, which are on YouTube, okay, and on Steam on the video page, is outside the game. So if someone wants to see, oh, this is horrible, I don't want to play this, or this is great, I can do this, this is exactly what I want to play, you can watch all that stuff outside of the stuff. And Nate Rogers did the videos that we're using outside the game. Tom did the videos inside the game. They're both great. I mean, if you watch any of our videos before by Nate, I mean, if you don't like those, you're not going to like these.
Another question that's come up since we do have, and we should touch on this a little bit, Nations at War, which is going to be coming out later this month. And a lot of follow-up question to that is World at War Digital.
What? Who said that? No.
Who said that? What?
Okay. Someone asked up here, I didn't go into it yet either, and if I can find this comment, I will highlight it. You guys are chatty today. Okay.
Yes, they are.
Here we go. Nations at War. Okay. His name is Philip Devine, excellent programmer. He did do a War of Empires, Fallen Stars. If you like Twilight Imperium,
yeah.
Twilight Imperium, it's a cool game. It could have been done better or differently. And Phil would tell you the first thing. This, he did the format that we basically going to do with our board games, which is it's a digitalized version of the board game, just like Tactical is, and just like Tank and Tank was. So it's scheduled for April 7th. I pretty much doubt that's going to happen. Okay. Phil, is still wrestling with the Steam people to get the game approved. Okay. Now, I know the computer, if you guys can see it back here, I'm waiting for Philip just to log in so he can do some other stuff he needed to do for licensing to get it approved by Steam. Once it's ready by Steam and he has a Steam build for me, I'll probably get a good half a dozen guys to jump in for play testing, and we'll just want to make sure that the games are matching the board game as possible. Okay. Now, assuming that this all goes well, it'll be the same thing. Core game, you get a scenario or two from probably White Star Rising. There's 2 battle packs for White Star Rising, 2 battle packs for Desert Heat, and 2 battle packs for Sound Triumph. Okay. And those are scenarios, and they should go well. And it'll be the same process you're seeing here. It'll be an early release. You tell us what you like, what you don't like. One of the things that Tom and I have discussed is whether to switch the counters that come up on the screen to tell you what's activated to the cards. Right now the counters are there and they work, so I don't see why changing it. But just to make it match, you guys, a little confused what we're doing. And we have seriously talked to Philip about doing World at War 85. Okay. It'll pretty much match, not rule-wise, but engine-wise, the Nations at War. And so the goal is to put most of our games on the computer like that. I mean, when I was at Matrix, the biggest thing was everyone was trying to make the games 3D, had the little guy run across the desk or across the map. And I've kind of rejected all that at this point. I mean, if you want to play Command & Conquer, you want to play a game 3D, which I'm not against. There's some great naval games and everything else. Buy that. But the time to get those games done, the crew that you need, when I was doing it, it just never was in the budget to do that. It was just too much. I think Talonsoft did a kind of a decent job with it with
campaign
Art of War campaign
yeah.
series.
Yeah.
But again, we found that 90% of the people turned it off because remember, Matrix Games bought Talonsoft's game rights when they sold to somebody else. I was the one that did that. And we found that the data showed that no one was playing with the stupid 3D. And it blew the budget up and no one was using it. So our whole goal was, hey, we already have these board games. You guys already like so many of these board games. Let's give you as much board game-ish on the computer screen, give you AI, give you multiplayer, and on top of that, give you some data that you can turn on and off on the screen that if you don't want the computer stuff because you just want the counters. So I don't have a date for you, but if it still says April 7th, I can pretty much guarantee that is not going to happen. My guess is it's somewhere probably near the end of April. And the only reason that the Victory and Glory and Lock and Tactic was 2 days apart, they were supposed to be at least a week apart, if not a little bit more, is because of the scheduling issues with Steam and everything else. We have to wait 10 days. Someone approved the day that we had for the games, and then I guess somebody else realized that you can't do that because you have to wait 10 days from putting Coming Soon out. So again, I'm sure a lot of it's working at home and all the craziness going on, but I will post and state when I know what date is really going to be. Okay. Hey, Jim Snyder's here. Hey guys, I believe, Jim, the game is called Red Storm. Am I getting your game right? He's got a really good Warsaw, NATO versus Warsaw Pact game. That is, I believe it's on Matrix still. But Steve Overton's part of that crew. Jim Snyder I've known for years. If he tells me the name of the game, I'll pop it up there for you. Or Steve, if you tell me, I'll put it up there to you for you as well. Great game. If you're stuck in the house, try not to kill the wife and kids.
Or get killed by the wife and kids.
Or hide somewhere where you have nothing to do. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we're like I said, the AI guys, if it does something stupid, do not think we just, oh, that's it, we're done. We're not even close to done. It's we wanted to get user setups, and the AI Tom has put an incredible amount of time into, and just keep the information coming because we are improving it, and you guys are going to work with us. And like I said, the scenarios we played, the Falklands. That was pretty cool. I think you guys are going to like that. Someone wants to know what's after Falklands. Listen, all this can change. We're probably pretty close with Heroes Against the Red Star, and I know we're pretty well with Falklands. It'll probably be, my guess is we'll probably go to the Pacific. Like I said, we're probably going to jump around just so people can each get their little flavor in there as they want. So you're not going to see, I mean, you may see some explosions on the screen and smoke of a burning building if there's a fire. Yes, that's not going to kill anybody. But I'm not going to have the tank roll over the hill and, stuff like that. Okay. Simon, will you be creating a new Kickstarter for the updated Nations at War? A leaky roof destroyed my first editions a few months ago. Buying the second editions are now great. Okay. Second Chance Games, guys. Simon, this is for you. They have the upgraded games. So if you buy we call them the updated. If you buy the updated game from Second Chance Games, they have all the stuff in there that you need. You don't have to buy anything else. Okay. I'm sorry to hear about your stuff getting destroyed. That sucks. But there's no way if you live in the UK, it's going to be cheaper for us to sell it. I don't think we're going to do Kickstarter for that, for the Nation War Games released. Sean and I have talked about the next game, bringing it up more to what I'm going to say is World at War standards as far as how the counters are laid out and improving, expanding the graphics and stuff. But that's, again, it's still really early talks for that. So, the game I was talking about that Jim and Steve Overton do is Flashpoint campaigns, guys. Again, you won't do a disservice by playing it. And Steve is throwing up there Flashpoint campaigns, Red War Storm series. Okay. Thanks, Jim and Sean and Steve. Okay. Neil put down also Townsoft's 3D had some mini effect on units tended to get lost in the terrain. It was hard. I mean, yeah, it is. But at that time, I mean, that was the gold standard. I mean, say what you like about the games or didn't like. I mean, Jim Rose and his team did a phenomenal job there. Okay, what's a good game waiting for the next DLC to arrive? I'm not sure the question there. What is a good game waiting for the next DLC?
I think he was referring to Flashpoint campaign.
Okay. Oh, yes. I'm sorry, Jimmy. I did forget about Rob. I haven't seen you guys in, I guess, 2 years now. We normally used to meet at Origins, but Origins to me has just become a non-war game-ish convention. I think there's a bigger war game convention now at Gen Con than there is now at Origins, which is funny because when I was a kid, man, Origins was the place to go.
Origins was the destination. You are correct.
But Rob, no disrespect meant. I'm sorry. And now watch, I'm going to become a leader in that game with the suckiest ratings ever. Now, thanks. See, be nice, guys. Okay. Yeah, I mean, these guys have been putting. It's been years of development, and it shows, and the improvements and the fixes. I wish they move a little faster on it, guys. No diss, but man, you play that, and then you got to wait and wait and wait. So, but it's a really nice game. I mean, they really have improved that engine over the years. Thanks, Jim. Yes, I've taken up drinking since we released that.
I think you took up drinking while we were releasing that.
Yeah, that's when the cargo ship probably got lost. All right, guys. Listen, what else do we have for you? And guys, keep the questions coming. I'm trying to see what else we have. Oh, the latest copy of War Diary magazine is out and about. Okay, so make sure if you read that, again, you can get a PDF. I don't know if the PDF is available for the latest edition yet. I think it is. But I think it's the finest war game magazine out there. Not that the other ones aren't bad or not good. I like it because it focuses on the articles and doesn't, give you a game that is basically being forced in there right away. And, a lot of people there are some good magazine games out there. Don't get me wrong. There's quite a bit of them, but a lot of them just, I don't think, should be either expanded, play tested more, whatever you want it. I just think it's a great magazine. If you haven't had a chance to grab a copy, you can get a PDF one pretty darn cheap and read it, and it is excellent. Okay. Is a wing and a prayer in the. Okay, Jim, I need more words, buddy.
He continued it a couple lines later. PC pipeline.
PC pipeline. Okay. Sorry, Jim, I didn't see that. I don't know. I mean, it hasn't come up. We're trying to do. So the problem is this: if you take something like Wing and a Prayer, I love the game. I like the fact that it's so playable quickly. The problem, in my opinion, for a PC game is where do you go from that? I want to be able to, put it this way. Most games you buy, what, 50, 60, 80, 90 bucks, depending upon the game. Okay. And, I think that's more than fair if you're getting something like War in the Pacific. I mean, there's a monster game for you, buddy. A war in Russia. There are games that you're going to be playing probably for the next 10 years, if not longer. In which case, does the value match that? In my opinion, it does. My whole thing is, you can't get a demo of that game. And that when I ran Matrix, that was the bitch I'm always saying about, oh, can't you make a demo? Every programmer I ever met didn't want to make a demo. They said it was as much work as making the game. I'm sure that's a little exaggerated, but it was a lot of work. Plus, you need the rulebook to play, most computer games. Do you guys really see playing Lock and Load Tactical without a rulebook? Okay, or in a demo that really is, I mean, part of the reasons on our starter kits for the board game, we stopped been putting the manual there because we put so much work to make the manual so inclusive of, examples of play and big pictures and large fonts for people with, older eyes. You can't give away a 300-page rulebook and give away maps and give away counters. So you have to go to the PDFs or the EPUBs or any other way of reading the rules. So for the computer games, that's why we make this core engine, because one of the things I learned was it's much easier to change one engine, keep it changed, keep adding to it than have 4 different games in the series. You're having to keep jumping around, changing things back and forth. And then the DLCs, don't care about Afghanistan, in lock and load. Days of Villainy. Sorry, that's Libya, right? Libya.
Yep.
Don't buy it. Don't worry about it. And more importantly, when budgets are tight, it's a lot harder to buy that $60, $80, $90 computer game. You can say, hey, you know what? It's Friday night. Kids are away. Don't have any kids. Don't have a girlfriend. Hey, $10. I can buy another set of a DLC and place a new scenario. So that's the logic on that. I don't see building a whole engine around a wing and a prayer. We could do it. We have the rights to do it. Unless I find a programmer who wants to do that, and I can cut a deal out with. And by the way, guys, if any of you guys program in iOS, program in Unity, I really want to stick with the Unity engine because we get both Mac and PC. But I'm open to anything else, by the way. And it's not just games. We like to make some, what's what I want to use? iPhone aids and stuff to help do other things in the games. Again, making it easy to play the game.
Honestly, I think I've had more people asking about Space Infantry Resurgence Digital than Wing and a Prayer.
Yeah, we need to find another programmer. I mean, it's the nice things too, guys, when we do these games off of our board games, we are making them look like the board game. So putting cards down, you're going to get the same cards. So the artwork is done, the information is there, and there's a lot of replay value in Space Infantry Resurgence. So doing that type of stuff makes it really easy for us to break the game down, put in the DLCs, make it affordable, and just make it so everyone can play, basically. Okay, guys. Okay, what's this one? Yeah, that's what we were saying before. The multiplayer, we did put limited multiplayer in the early access. It's not going to, stay like that. The purpose of it was it's in the starter kit. They're actively being programmed. Each possibility has to be put into the scenario program so you can play solitaire. And what we're going to do is we're going to release, Battle Pack 1. We may get 2 scenarios done next week. In which case when we do an update, we're going to list all the changes so you know what they are. So you'll be moving right along with us. Okay. And you'll see, all of a sudden these 2 scenarios will work, but the other ones may not. So you just need to pay attention to what scenarios we have got the multiplayer working for. Okay. So it's right now, you're right. It's only for the base pack, but that won't be for long.
Aside from any major bug issues that Tom's runs into, that is Tom's priority right now, is getting the multiplayer for the battle packs.
The multiplayer is our priority, minus the bug fixes. That's 100% right. I can't give you an exact date when the battle packs are, because it's being done by scenario. Okay. But again, that's why it's early access, guys. It gives everyone. We really like everyone to try the starter kit. Tell us things like, "Hey, can we make fonts bigger? Can we make the zoom bigger?" We need to do it now, then try to go back and adjust it later. So, give us as much help as you can with that, everybody. Mac, just for Dan, the Canadian deuce. He was crying on Mo's show Wednesday night. It's funny. I was having a problem with my Steam. I turned around and, I have Windows and Mac games, but I'm going to tell you, outside of Lock and Load Tactical and I think Twilight Struggle, all those games will now not work on the newest Mac. Nobody is updating their games. Even our Tank and Tank programmer, he doesn't have a Mac that he can update to the new 64-bit to make it work. He's working on a new game as well, and even that new game, I forget what it's called, Second Front, Up Front, something like that. But it doesn't work on the new Macs either. And it's the Mac OS. It's not even a new Mac. You can go back 10 years or 5-7 years and throw this OS on it, the Catalina. It doesn't work. So it's just like, why even bother? I mean, because most people are running the new Mac OS. Okay. Hey, Charles. How you doing, buddy? If you don't know any better, I believe, Charles, aren't you the guy image on Heroes of North Africa? I think that's you, buddy, right? Okay, do I have any more images for you guys? This is just another one. It's a little bit closer up. I'm not too sure what this is showing there.
Looks like it's something from Retaking Veerville.
Okay. Well, this, as you can see, this is the same graphic you get on the board game, guys. Let me just switch images here. Okay. This is the best I can do with this on here. But you can download this from the guide on Lock and Load Tactical Digital on Steam. When you go hit the community button, which is once again on the top right, you'll see discussions and videos and artwork. One of the things is guide. You can find it there. You can download it and print it out yourself. These is what I mean by the numbers you can move instead of using the cursor. Early access keys are near the bottom, F3 or Shift. Is that B? I can't really see that one too well. Let me bring it up on my screen here. No, it's not there, of course. Oh, yes, here it is. Okay. The F5, it's F5 now for you guys. F5 lets you submit a unit setup for a scenario. So if you want to play whatever scenario, you have an alternate setup, guys, send them in. Okay. This is going to help the community and everybody else instead of just having one. If you hit F3 or Shift B, you can submit a bug report. Okay. They're not programmable, or you can reprogram them. I did write that down on the possibility of a feature list improvement. You won't see them right away. F1 or question mark for hockey list. I do not think F1 was working on my Mac keyboard, but I will try the question mark because I couldn't remember what it was.
Definitely was working on my my Windows version.
Okay, and of course WASD are arrow keys. The type will select goes, let you go through the selectable stacks. If something that's moving can't be used again because it's already used, it's been activated, it won't go through those guys. Escape brings up the game menu, cancels chat. What else we have here? Enter will bring up the timeline for multiplayer. The line of sight tool. Yeah, we really should show people that. I tried to take a screenshot of that. It was not cooperative at all, the thing. But because the keys are activated, so I couldn't tell it to do on a Mac. You do Shift F4, you make a box around the screen, and it takes a screenshot of it. It's nice and simple. But when that was actually in play, I couldn't do that. T is for terrain info. V is for the turn victory display. Control Z, like I said, it will auto load last save, so it's kind of an undo key for you. F2 of the backspace is the sniper interrupt key during an opponent's move. And F11 will take a screenshot. F12 is the Steam overlay shortcut for a screenshot. So you have one for yourself if you want to document it. What's the other ones there? Oh, button, unbutton. Helicopters are there. Rotate left, rotate right. Assault move. Pretty much there. Someone's at my door, Devin. I'm going to let you take this over for a second.
Okay.
All right.
So basically everything on the hotkey list, everything that is under the graphics of the hexes can actually be done from inside the game itself. There are icons. So when you click on a tank, you will see the button for unbutton. You will see the button for turn left, turn right, for turret left, turret right, if it has a turret. If you don't want to click on those keys, here's the hotkeys that will do the exact same thing. I personally don't like using too many hotkeys. I prefer doing everything mouse. But I know there are people out there who, pretty much do everything with just the keys. They don't even use the mouse. But yeah, this is a really good bit of information, and this will answer a lot of people's questions. Mainly the F1 for the hotkey list in game. If some of you may remember the video I did a 3 nights ago, the live stream that I did, I was complaining about how the size of one of the boxes, it's like, I don't remember it being that small, but I don't remember if I'd have just hit F1, I'd have seen resized box, right mouse button. So, it's going to answer a lot of questions. Our fault for not making that more apparent in any documentation anywhere, but this is why we're trying to get the word out that F1 will answer a lot of the questions you have. A lot of questions I've seen pop up. Kev had a question about it, and David said, just hit F1 for the hotkey list. And Kev, I didn't even know that was there. It was great. So yeah, that works really well, and I'm running out of things to talk about. Aaron Sibley asked, World at War, next Kickstarter. The next Kickstarter is Blood and Fury. We just don't know when yet. And I think David was touching on the points of we don't want to throw anything out there with so many people out of work and times being as uncertain as they are. Originally, before the whole crisis that we got hit with, we were looking at first quarter of this year. Don't know if that's going to change any, or if we're going to have to push that back. Like I said, David was mentioning a little bit about that. But yes, we do have the next World of War 85. Keith we're just tightening up the scenarios at this point, as far as I know. As far as I know, all the counter art's done. I think Mark has done all the counter art. I think the only thing, the giant campaign, or not the campaign map, the monster map is done. So even the stretch goals, I'm fairly certain. When we're going to get it out, we're not really sure about that yet. Neil is mentioning about loving the crispness of the terrain. Yes, it is actually beautiful. It's the map art straight from the game. That map art that you're seeing on the digital is the same map art that Mark created and crafted for the tabletop. And that's why I love zooming in on it, because you can see it. The terrain just looks absolutely beautiful. Let's see if there's anything else that we may have missed. David's back. Woo! I don't have to carry everything by myself anymore. Whee!
I'd be really quiet. You still have to keep talking.
Oh God! No. I went through and covered the last of the comments that we've had. So.
Okay, what do we have? We have a few more questions. It is Charles.
It is. Yep, Charles on the cover of.
Okay, let me get rid of this. Okay. Someone is asking. Yeah, I have to be honest with you. The virus is definitely hurting us. I mean, I've managed to keep everyone at the warehouse I can. The warehouse people have, really been more than generous, letting us, I guess I'll use the word, be a little bit late on things with them. So any support you guys can give us and anything you can do to ease that burden, it's great. We understand everyone's hurting too. So,
we should mention that the sale is still going on.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Guys, we're having if you look at our store, all of our stuff is on sale, but if you use this code at checkout, you can use it as many times as you want. So if you want to do one this week, one next week, use Lock-In 2020, okay? And you'll get an additional 20% off, okay? And that's on top of any loyalty discount you get. That's on top of the discounts already listed. So if it says it's 10% off, you're really going to get 30% off. And if you have a 2%, 5% loyalty discount, it increases that by that much, okay? It was scheduled to end on April 10th, which I believe is Good Friday. But since they extended our lockdown until the 30th here, and I think most places in the country, and I don't know I know poor Phil at Second Chance Games was they're down to literally one guy that can be in the store at the same time. So guys, if you're in Europe, you're not in the United States or Canada, go ahead and buy from Second Chance Games. We ship them a truckload of stuff, and I know it would help them. And great guys. I can't say enough about them. So secondchancegames.com. And I think if you can even write to Phil at secondchancegames.com. I don't think there's anything he doesn't have. Maybe he doesn't have some of the battle generators, battles on demand games, but he has, I'm pretty sure, all the Nations at War games. I know he just ordered more because he sold out from 2 or 3 weeks ago. And I know the thing says it ends April 10th, but we're going to extend it to April 30th or until we come out of this. Okay.
Nuno's trying to get me in trouble.
Yeah, I was just reading that. What was that? Oh, he did. Okay, well, he's lying. Well, we don't know actually. We thought it was going to kind of be over by the middle of April, maybe, and obviously we're being told to expect, I don't know, what was it, 100,000 to 240,000 deaths, and that was a couple of days ago. We seem to be going up about 1,000 deaths per every 2 days. I think it's every 2 days. So I don't know. I don't really worry about it because there's not much I can do, and no one on the White House staff is calling me asking for my opinion. So. Not much is going on, but again, that's why the computer games are so cheap. Trying to make it so everyone can benefit. It also is a great way to just work with the guys playing the games. I mean, that's one of the things I loved about the cons. You sit down and you play a game. People ask you questions, talk to you about it. You ask to talk to them. I mean, some of my best relationships are every year at these cons. We just have a great time, and it looks like someone asked me about WBC. I did talk to Ken. He runs WBC. They're not going to make a decision before June on whether or not it's going to be canceled or not. I'm hoping it's far enough out that it's not. I do know, what's the show in Arizona, done by the guy who runs Consum World? His name is John Krantz, I believe.
Yeah, it's the Consum Con.
Yeah, I think it's MonsterCon it's called.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
I know that they're going to delay it. What I've been told from one of my information sources that they're going to delay until August this year, which, again, if we don't go to WBC because it's canceled for whatever reason, then there's a very good chance we'll go to that one. It's closer anyway. But it's a smaller con. I know it's called MonsterCon. So you play from I think it's from Friday all the way through until the following Saturday or Sunday. So that's pretty good. And guys, if you can go to WBC, to me, it's one of the best war game cons around. It's, I'm going to say 90% war games, but there are other games there. And it's things for the family to do. There's hiking, there's rock climbing, there's in the pool, so you're not stuck by yourself.
Yeah, I'm an idiot. I hit the button again.
Okay.
Well, the login button is right above the private chat button.
If I want an excuse, I'll talk to my wife, buddy.
I'm sorry. I'll shut up now.
Okay. So anyway, if you guys get a chance to come out there, Keith's going to be out there, God willing, and Jeff with the new samples of World War 5. Someone asked me about when did that come out? Okay.
Yeah, Aaron was asking about when the new Kickstarter for it was going to be coming out.
It was supposed to be out, actually. Keith had some delays with his job and family issues. So I think, well, the rules are basically done because it's the same rules. Hey, for those who are interested in World of Warcraft 5, we won't be this week, I'm sure, but next week, possibly, we're going to have our optional thermal rules. I know there's been a great debate about artillery, hidden tanks, and the the fact that we didn't put any thermal sights in the game. Two things. The argument with the artillery, I feel comfortable. Keith, it's really not me. Keith and Jeff did, I feel, more research than really was needed for the game. And there are some articles that show that the artillery really had a lot more effect on tanks when it hit. And it's all this is debatable because thankfully we don't have any veterans that can tell us what happened. Okay. But that we're pretty much happy with. But again, you guys got some articles, you guys got some stuff, post them on Facebook, post it to us, post it on our forums. We do read the stuff. Okay. And maybe we'll change it or make an adjustment if that's what we find. The other one with the thermal was much, much, much more down the middle. Okay. We had talked that in Desert Heat, which was 5 or 7 years later, it was a lot more effective because it's basically flat. I mean, there are some sand dunes, but it's pretty flat. It's pretty hot. It's pretty dry. And it was a lot easier to point something out. In Europe, with the forest, rolling hills, buildings, it's a lot harder to identify the target you're firing at. And in the morning, there's a good mist, which would throw things around. So we had played with the rule. We had modified it. The Soviets, I mean, I know in the original game, I think they were called Dark Eagles. I believe it was a made-up Soviet tank that had thermal. Okay, I'm 90% sure. It didn't work. It wasn't a real tank. But the research we found was that the Soviets weren't really up with the thermal. They did have thermal sights. They weren't very good. The Americans had good thermal sights, but they had it did have some issues, and it wasn't as super clear. Everyone thinks you're basically seeing the daylight through the lens here. Didn't quite work like that. So we had these rules, and at the kind of near the end, we kind of decided, and this scale game, it really maybe wasn't called for. A lot of people, enough people, basically felt it should have been. So we undusted our thermal rules that we had, and we're formatting them so it looks pretty, and to put in the game. It'll be an optional rule. We'd like to see what people think about it. And that's pretty much that.
Did want to point out, Fiddle 70 was asking a question that we kind of skipped over a little bit earlier ago.
Do you see it?
Yep, it's up a little bit.
What was it?
He says, sorry if I missed this, but will this engine, referring to Lock and Load Tactical Digital, allow for the rules for like We Stand Alone, semi-campaign rules, personal heroes, etc.? Just curious.
The goal is to make it 100% match the board game. Now, may there be something be adjusted? Some of the, I guess, special rules for the scenarios. I told Tom, if he gets something that's going to take him 3 months to program because it's just been crazy, either to modify it, and we'll talk to our scenario designers, or to leave it out. Okay, so there's a possibility one or two things may not get in the game, or one or two things may not match it, but the goal is to really, really,
Well, and I've been working with Tom on that, and from all the scenarios that Tom has started working on as of yet, there is one scenario that probably will not make it to the digital conversion just because it can't be programmed the way that it would work on tabletop. And there's 20 scenarios that that we have changed or going to have to change how the special rules or the events work because it just can't be programmed into the engine. So, but other than that, I mean, I think that's a pretty good ratio. We've got a couple hundred scenarios, and we're not going to be able to convert one of them, and just even a small handful that are going to have changes from the original. It's Tom's doing a phenomenal job.
No, that will only work on Lock and Load. But you know what? I was talking to Phil about maybe doing a dual sale, meaning we'll both have the same sale at the same time. So maybe after the 10th, we'll just change the code to match something with Phil. But you know what? Email Phil and tell him you want to do a sale. Okay. And let him know that, we talked about that, but I know he's really swamped. Because he's down to one poor guy in the store. That one guy is boxing everything, they can't have people come in the store. I think he said 1 or 2 people at a time. All the restaurants are shut down. Same thing here. I have to cook all the time now, guys. You have no idea how that sucks. Okay. Ben, locking your question. If you go into the lock and load store, and you go to buy, you can enter that code without the question mark, and it's lock in. So it's LOCKIN 2020. You left the letter out there. And you'll get a 20% additional discount, not instead of. Okay. And it's a great help to us. We're trying to keep everyone at the warehouse and everything else going, and it would be great. But we understand, it's difficult for everybody with everything going on. You got your fans there, buddy.
I know. People love me.
Okay. Let's see what we have here. Okay, what's this one? How are things looking for the Battlepacks you were talking about last time? Tom, you're going to have to give me more. I can't remember what I said 20 minutes ago. So I don't know what last time means, but give me a little data and I'll do my best. Now, I do know World of Wars, Battlepack is out.
There have been requests, and I believe Trent is working on as many of them as he can. Just because, again, you get more eyes on something, more people are going to want different features. So I know Trent is continuing to try to implement some of the more easily implementable requests that people have, like not having the movement lines on the map all the time, have an option to have that turned off. And there's a few other things. Okay. So. And
Black Eagles, that's not a real tank. That was just something totally
different. No, that was something Mark Walker came up with. So like his vampires and werewolves and
all right, yeah. So it's not, we didn't do that. I know we had said something about, someone termed it magic smoke. The problem is, we didn't just design this in the last 6 months or the last year. We literally worked on this whole thing for probably 2 or 3 years, maybe even a little longer. Okay.
Pretty much as soon as you release the deluxe edition for Eisenbach Gap, I believe is about the time when you started working on the new version.
Well over 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So like I said, we do not plan, okay, and I guess we're rolling back the smoke. We do not plan to make up things that totally did not exist besides the history. Okay, as far as the timeline leading up to the war, that obviously we fabricated. Everything else should be what's in the game. And like I say, if I find the article, I'll post it. It was a really great article on the thermal sights, and it actually shows pictures of some of the American and how you really can't tell what you're shooting at. So you don't know, hey, do I use Armored Piercing? Do I use HE? You don't want to waste a certain round that's not going to have an effect. Could it be possibly one of my friendly tank and all that you're shooting at? So don't get me wrong, it helped, and on something like MBT, big difference. Okay, as a single tank battle game, I can see it being used here. In this type of game, I don't, I can see it going either way. I think it's going to change the game, but I don't think it's going to change it a lot. I was kind of on the let's throw thermos in there, but like I said, it was really cut down the middle, and I let my developers and designers, unless they want pink kitty cats and tiger tanks, something like that, I really don't throw down any gauntlet. I'm pretty sure Keith will back that up. And final call was the team. The team said, hey, we decided we don't think it's going to be there. A lot of guys said, and since we already had made the rules, had played with it and everything else, we're going to give them out that way. All right, what else do we have? Yeah, the Soviets. It was really, from what the articles and stuff that we've read, the Soviets didn't go thermal to 1991. That is correct, and the thermals were very bad. They left it to what would be equivalent of headquarter units in World War 85. Okay, and it was really used for calling in artillery. That was the tactic. Okay, so you're right on that. And like I said, we have our rules do account for that. and it is different than the older rules as far as the thermal rules go. But it'll be released soon for you guys to go look at, tell me what you think. And again, it's optional, so you're not forced to use it. Only real rule differences. Only real between the board game version and digital, the silhouette versus whole hex rules. Hold on a sec. I'm not sure what he means by that. Dev, you know what he's talking about there?
He's talking about lock and load tactical digital, how the line of sight is done. Some of the terrain in lock and load tactical digital is going to be obscuring if it crosses through the hex, anywhere through the hex terrain, whereas in the digital it actually has to crosses the artwork, and then it will be counted as obscuring terrain.
Okay, all right.
So you can kind of clip some of those hexes. In the digital version, you can kind of clip some of the hexes and it won't be obscuring, whereas in the tabletop it would be counted as obscuring.
Okay.
Miracle, this makes it new.
Yeah, we all feel buddy.
So Tom Watt was clarifying the vassal modules.
Okay, hold on. Why am I not seeing these?
Oh, they're right there.
Yeah, I'm not reading them. That's all.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Okay, packaging vassal module charts and single book is a safe one. Oh, okay. What we're working on, and I have not made, again, find a few programmers. What we wanted to do is put our own vassal server up, which we can easily do because it's a free download. But we wanted to just slightly modify it so it had a serial key. So what you could do is buy the board game digitally only. So it'd be a lot cheaper. I don't have to go produce it anywhere else. And you would get a vassal module and what we call a key. The key will let you register your game. The service we have a name for, it's called Game Turn Digital. And what you would do is put your key in, and now you own that game digital, kind of like Steam, but for a board game. And then you get a buddy key. And you can give one guy at the same time a buddy key, and he could not own the game at all and still play with you, just like if you had a board game. Okay. I like it to be, a lot more accessible and easy to do. And that would include the scenario books and the charts and tables and everything else. Okay. We also wanted to provide, if you bought the board game for slightly more, you'll get the actual vassal key or the Game Turn Digital vassal key and serial key as well. Or maybe just throw it in there. We haven't really decided yet. So anyway, that is where we're at with that. We haven't gotten very far. We're running out of programmers is really what it comes down to. Oh, Keith's online. Hey Keith, how you doing, buddy? Use thermals for, okay, well, there you go. I guess that backs up a little bit what we're saying. That's in Desert Storm, too. I can only imagine what it would have been like in Europe. Are we planning to go right from this and jump on Twitch? Are we going to wait a little bit? What's your game plan?
I got to eat lunch.
Well, after lunch.
Yeah, if you want me to do some Twitch this afternoon, we can do Twitch this afternoon. I got no problem with that.
We'll post something up when the Twitch goes live. The object is to show it actually in practice, what you can do there, guys. And again, using Twitch, the imagery is just so much nicer and so much better.
And for an example, for those of you who may have seen my YouTube videos covering Lock and Load Tactical Digital and saw the video that I did on Twitch with Lock and Load Tactical Digital, I use the exact same program to feed the stream, OBS, and it's set at 1920. I mean, I've spent about a week tricking out my OBS to make it to work. Just looking at the difference between how YouTube presents it and how Twitch presents it shows you that Twitch is a better platform to get the clarity for gaming. Now, Twitch is crap for studio type work, but for streaming, yeah, it's the way to go. It's far superior than YouTube's resolution.
Okay, someone wants me to post. They're really asking now. I got to figure out how to get back on Twitch. Okay, guys, give me a minute and I'll get this. Oh, there it is. Look at that.
Basically, I think the channel name is just LNLP.
It's twitch.tv.lnlp, but I'm copying it now.
Yeah.
And okay, here's is our Twitch link. Of course, it didn't copy. Oh, there it is. Okay, guys, there it is. Okay, let me see if I have any more images here, guys. Just so you know, this is the link to get Lock and Load Tactical Digital on Steam. Again, if you do go to our store, okay, you will go on the digital games, find, it'll say get it on Steam, and it just takes you right to Steam. Click on it all you want. Okay, and there's a URL. It is for Mac, and it works with Catalina, so we don't have that problem, and it works for Windows. Okay. Okay. Bouncing back and forth. Let's see here. And yes, that is Dan's original music we put in the game. Steam needs to have Dan make some adjustments to some of this stuff. So it'll be a little bit while, and we didn't want to delay the game for that. Okay, it will be part of the game, but you can also get it and support Dan. If you don't know who Dan is that we're talking about, we call him El Duce, which he doesn't like. But he runs No Enemies Here. Phenomenal. Every Saturday morning, basically, he gives the weekend review of what's new in wargaming news. And again, somebody who does a really great job and for our hobby. Okay.
Phenomenal job, and he puts a lot of work into it. You know, his videos run about 45 minutes, maybe an hour, but he spends probably a good 20 hours throughout the week working on it, at least.
Yeah, at least. And he's also working with Rob Owen, I believe his name is pronounced, and he's
at the Dice Tower. Yep.
Yeah. But Rob does a lot of all kinds of gaming, miniature painting, wargaming. He's done quite a bit on our wargames recently. I'll have to find his link, but I know it's Rob's Tabletop, I believe, Tabletop Gaming, something like that. But I'll put that up next time. And you know what? Also, someone's asking me, I don't know if I have any imagery here for you guys on this. Let me just finish this out before I jump around. If you got any support issues, which I hope you don't, you can go to that link, guys, and open up a ticket. Okay. Again, we're down to literally one guy. Okay. Doing that plus the warehouse because of the limitations we have. So, but he is answering them. Okay. I know he's got it down to one page of support tickets. So it's short. Okay. Once again, there's our Discord server, and yours truly, Devin, the original OG, is on there all the time. Okay. There's the Steam link again for Victory and Glory, American Civil War. And what I'm going to kind of switch to, because I was asked, I just got to, again, upload a picture. Is there a new Space Infantry game? Yes and no. Okay, the new Space Infantry game is not Space Infantry Resurgence. I mean, we released a crap load of material. I doubt anyone's got through the whole thing yet by a long shot. But we also released a link. It's on our Facebook page. It's on our forums that lets you make your own characters. So if you wanted to make your own aliens combat team, you can do that. Now, what we're getting ready to release, it's not up yet, but it's going to be soon, is you can design your own, not design, but you can create your own scenarios, I guess is a word for it, and make your own maps. So basically the game's content, I mean, is endless. I don't know what else you guys want us to do with that series as always. We may make special missions and stuff. I know we've talked about lock and load tactics. Really, that's pretty much ready. We're just waiting to see where we can get it printed up. Lock and load space infantry. It's called Above and Beyond. It's basically space infantry in the lock and load tactical universe. Okay, and it will be on the computer game as well. Okay, you can find that on our page. The other game, which as soon as I find it, I know there's images for it. I guess Black will put it somewhere different. Hold on, guys. This, the designer's name for his first name is Nathan. I don't remember his last name because I don't have it right here. This was, I think they called it a Siege game. It was originally a series.
State of Siege game.
Okay, there you go. Okay. Okay, here's some images, guys. Anyway, we signed a deal with Nathan. The original game was called Federation of Soul, I believe, SOL, right?
Yep.
And we signed it, and we are theming it towards Space Infantry. And we renamed the game, and it's called Space Infantry Federation. I'm going to upload some more stuff as I'm talking here. And it's a solitaire game, and it's a strategic game. In a sense, you've got empires and races and all that attacking you. Again, we definitely plan to have Nathan and Blackwell on the show to talk about it. I'm trying to find where the map is. Sorry, guys. And here's a look at the map. I really can't talk a lot about the game because, again, it's really a Blackwell and Nathan deal. Nathan's been really great to work with. We're having a good time working on this stuff. I'm trying to find one more imagery for you. Okay. There you go. So it's, again, we the board was a lot bigger. We cut the board down from the map image. So because this is a great game to take to a hotel, you're on a business trip. And give you an example, Winging a Prayer, that's a pretty big map with all the charts and tables on the side. You know, unless you're buying a suite with a dining room table in it, it's going to be hard to play on the road. This game literally can fit in those little round tables that they expect you to eat on and everything else in your room and play this game. And all the other tables are on cards, so you can maybe put one on the bed if you're really tight for room and still play. Okay, we got 6 more comments. Okay.
But yeah, the Space Infantry Federation is a State of Siege game made popular by Victory Point Games. So if you know what a State of Siege game is, that's basically what it is. You've got a lot of different tracks, a lot of different paths, and a lot of crises thrown at you one after another. Barely any time to breathe, and it's it's resource management. You have limited resources. What are the biggest threats you're going to deal with? What are you going to try to contain first? And normally it devolves into very bad things happening to the player. That's just how most State of Siege games go. But Viper Dave just showed up.
Viper Dave, how you doing, buddy? Were you really working? You went home. Were you working, buddy? Come on. Okay, well, thank you very much about that. And then we have, let's see, can I test? I was thinking, yeah, I mean, I know people complained that we had a week or two went by. We were just overwhelmed. I mean, those packages, trying to get them all boxed up, and we will be making changes to hopefully, know what's going on a little bit better. And like I said, we can't thank you enough for your guys' support. And I hope you see that we're trying to just share the love back with you guys with some of the things we're doing with the Space Infantry online module, so that you make your own scenarios, you make your own squads. And like I said, we'll go we'll go back into this as we get more guests on. Like they said, we're going to have Nathan on there. Once Blackwell and him have everything ready to go, we'll have him on there so you can ask direct questions. The game has been changed a little bit by Nathan and Blackwell. A lot of it was only one counter sheet. We wanted to give you more options, more variance into the game. And that's great. Hey, I really thank you guys from Europe for jumping on. I hope you found that the 12 o'clock works. I know most of the guys probably be at work, but with everything going on, we thought this was a great way to get you guys a chance to jump in and speak and everything else. So thank you for the support. Dev, you got anything?
I think we've gone over more than what we initially had planned to go over. This was a packed episode.
All right. Yeah. Well, no one can say we can't talk.
That's right.
All right, guys. Well, I'm going to end the podcast unless everyone's got anything. I guess Devin, start doing your thing, buddy. Waving. Thank you, guys.
Well, that is all you have for this episode. Keep gaming, and may God bless you and keep you until next time. On the air is a Lock and Load Publishing production.
Let's see if David remembers where the red button is again this time.
You have to hit